It's now my privilege to introduce our next guest speaker, representing the National Veterans Memorial and Museum in Ohio, and with over 50 years in the military and public service, VFW Life member. Tom O is a staunch advocate for veterans and the vital role they play in America's storied history. The National Veterans Memorial and Museum is a new memorial and museum that is currently under construction in Columbus, Ohio, to honor veterans' contributions to our free and safe society. The memorial and museum will serve as a tribute to our veterans and serve as reminders to all of the importance and value of military service. It will share the stories and experience of men and women who have served their country, including those who made the ultimate sacrifice while doing so. Ladies and gentlemen, here to share more information on the National Veterans Memorial and Museum, please join me in welcoming Colonel Tom O. Colonel.
Thank you all. Well, thank you indeed for the honor to present a new National Veterans Memorial and Museum being built in America's heartland. Central Ohio, where half the U.S. population lives within an hour's drive or a couple hours' drive. And I want to congratulate Brian for a year of success, for allowing me to speak today. And congratulations to Keith Harmon, Buckeye, who will take over tomorrow and continue the great work of the VFW. Thank you both. I also want to say mention a couple other names because, you know, there's so many moving parts in a convention like this. People who have helped me, besides my colleague Deborah Anderson, we're on the World War I Centennial Commission together, Diane Prutoff, John Towles, Vanessa Kane, Bob Wallace, folks who helped me get around the city, and some folks that you'll never see except maybe during a coffee break, and all those people behind the curtain making all this happen, just wonderful people. So thank you to everyone who made this a success today. Well, to my brothers and sisters, of course, number one, I want to thank you for your service. And we're going to honor that. There is no single comprehensive museum dedicated to share the veterans' experience in our country. As Brian said, this facility will also memorialize those who died in service, those who could never enjoy, as a civilian, the fruits of their service and sacrifice. I'm honored to be a part of the team that is creating that place. Today, as I share with you the mission of the museum and memorial, I will include photos such as this of construction progress and renderings of the exhibits that are being planned. Led by the late Senator, astronaut, warrior, Marine, John Glenn, a diverse committee of veterans came up with a visionary concept to create this National Veterans Memorial and Museum. And this vision is now a reality. The memorial and museum will open next summer, hopefully in July, but certainly by the summer of 2018. And guess what? It's already paid for. We've raised over $75 million to date, 77.5 to be exact. And everything over the $75 million to pay for the building is going into an endowment to help run the museum. It's a great, great success story. Thank you. Here are the 4 pillars, those words on the left, on which we're building your story. We will honor, connect, inspire, and educate through this facility. We will connect visitors with veterans by demonstrating the military training and experiences that form them. And take a good look at that construction photo there. The building looks exactly like that. We will inspire visitors with your stories so that they might go forward and serve or continue to serve their community and nation in many ways. And we will educate visitors, especially school children, through interactive, permanent exhibitions about the history and value of service. Professional designers are already creating exhibits that tell the story, your stories, beginning with what prepared you to serve. What it was like to leave home, take the oath, live on a base, go through training, and then come home with those experiences and continue to serve your communities. This is not a military museum. No offense to our tankers out there, but there's not going to be a tank out front or an airplane or other technologies. It's about people and founded on the principle that veterans' stories have value that need to be told. Visitors will walk through various thematic alcoves, with each alcove highlighting key themes and moments in a veteran's journey. We will incorporate personal stories, past and present, to share a wide range of your challenges, your sacrifices, and your achievements. Visitors will explore a chronology of real veteran stories and experiences. And the particular example on the screen demonstrates the transformation that occurs as we who serve, and then you will see depiction of the service members before he or she was deployed, while in service, and photos of when they return to civilian life. We want visitors to learn what the transformation can be like. We would fail in our mission if we did not honor the servicemen and women who didn't make it back to civilian life, who could not enjoy the benefits they created and paid for with their lives. This rendering shows the Remembrance Gallery, where we pay tribute to those fallen brothers and sisters. It's a place for contemplation and reflection, to think about those who made the ultimate sacrifice and remember them. And I'm sure as I speak on this, already the faces of those you served with and loved come to your mind. There will also be a beautiful memorial grove on the property next to the Scioto River Park, itself newly developed. The memorial grove will serve as a site of reflection, but also celebration. We would expect that as time goes by, veteran service organizations and even individuals might want to create their own memorials here. This place is your home, a place to honor you like nowhere else. And finally, we will have a rooftop sanctuary, accessible not only from the inside, but also by a grand exterior spiral ramp, perfectly designed for processions and ceremonies. The open air space can also be a place for memorial ceremonies, but like the Grove, a place for celebration, for ceremonies to include military weddings and receptions and reunions. Some groups have already reserved it for just that. So please, connect with us as we connect with you. Get in touch with us at the email address on the screen so that we not only have your support, but your ideas. And I'll leave a bunch of business cards with you so you can have my, if you didn't get a chance to write this down, you'll have that information. Exhibit designers are already gathering personal memorabilia and veteran stories to be featured in the core exhibition program. So contact us. This memorial and museum is not a fantasy. And plans are underway already for the grand opening next summer. We have universal support for this project, and I hope we have yours as well. Bipartisan legislation has been introduced in the House and Senate to officially designate the museum as a national institution, and that legislation is moving through the wheels of Congress and will appear on Mr. Trump's desk, hopefully in the next few months. We have asked your leadership to reach out to Congress and President as this legislation moves toward completion, and they've been completely supportive, and I thank you for that. Our 22 million living veterans and the countless millions who have gone before have earned a national museum to call home, and now we'll have that home. And I'd just like to get off script for just a moment and tell you sort of my personal vision of one of the stories, or one of the many stories that'll be told. We'll talk about veterans who became president, George Washington, or astronauts, or senators, or governors, or cops, or firemen. We'll tell a lot of those stories. But when I think of veterans, I think of veterans to veteran service, like what we do here in the VFW. And a particular story comes to mind. We're talking about the tsunami earlier, a few minutes ago. When I had the honor to be in charge of the Ohio Veterans Department, and I was gathering my staff, I hired a fellow, Sean Hannon, who was in the National Guard as my chief attorney. And Sean said, well, you know, I'm in the Guard, I have to deploy. 37th Division, Buckeye Division, same division my Uncle Harold served in World War I. And as the months went by, the division deployed to Afghanistan. And one day, a terrorist killed Sean. And 2 other members of the 37th Division. There was actually a 4th Buckeye killed that day in another location. So Governor Kasich asked me to fly to Delaware when the remains were returned and pick them up and bring them to Ohio. And when we landed in Rickenbacker with the KC-137, with our comrades inside, it was pouring rain, like the worst rain you've ever seen. And there were thousands of people standing in the rain, bikers, no umbrellas, no raincoats, standing to honor these 3 men. The governor, our adjutant general, over 300 bikers. So we unloaded our brothers from the airplane, and 3 convoys headed out to the funeral homes in the rain. Veterans serving veterans. Thank you.